The year is 1953. Stalin, leader of the USSR, has died and is succeeded by Khrushchev. A period known as de-Stalinisation follows, in which Khrushchev seeks to destroy Stalin's cult of personality and dismantle his legacy.
Can't believe Stalin is betraying socialist values like this. I mean, Khrushchev. I can't allow his revisionism to affect China.
I plan all night, I plan all day to keep the coup d'etat away. 'Cause Stalin's dead. I must protect my legacy and keep away revisionaries like Khrushchev. In my dreams, I have a plan. If I got me a revolution, I wouldn't have to work at all. I'll use the students till them all. Russia, 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 goddamn Russia, we're no longer friends. Russia, 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 goddamn traitors to the revolution. All the things Khrushchev does to reform Russia, de-Stalinisation.
Tensions between the two countries increased as Russian diplomatic and economic support began to wane. 5 years later, the Great Leap Forward, devised by Mao, begins and leads to catastrophic consequences. Here at Mount Lu, the party leaders meet to discuss policy regarding the Great Famine.
Mao, this is disastrous. I, Deng Xiaoping, will not stand for this. I have to lie to foreign socialist leaders about the state of our country. This is simply not working. Our grain, steel and rice production have fallen significantly.
And I, Zhao and Lai, think this. We didn't beat the gooks, just how you were in the country. Over 45 million of our own people have died.
While some of the blame is certainly with the people, much of this lies with you, Mao. You must step down. You cannot be trusted to run the country.
Well said, Liu Shaoxi.
Hold on. There we go. Now you've screwed us over since the revolution. The Great Leap Forward's a failure, it must come to an end. You will step down, how will you ever learn? I don't know how, but Liu Shaoxi will take control. Zhao and Lai can help as well. Also, we'll get the help of Deng Xiaoping. With a pragmatist, we'll fix everything. Whoa, Mamma Mia, here we go again. Mao Mao, no more revolution. Mamma Mia, does it show again? Mao Mao, you've been pretty useless. Yes, the peasants are starving. Dead since the Great Leap Forward. Why, no more planned economy. Mamma Mia, now I really know. My, I can never let you go.
This is a complete betrayal of socialist values. Ending the Great Leap would be a step backwards. First, I've got to deal with Peng Du-hai, former Minister of Defence, who I replaced with Lin Bao. Now, I've got these other guys to deal with. There are only so many leaders I can replace before the other party leaders start getting worried and stab me in the back. Maybe I should take a step back and see how things play out.
Between 1960 and 1966, Mao underwent the process of stealthily building up a network of loyal party members, as well as strategically dealing with those that opposed him, such as playwright Wu Han and General Liu Riqing. All the while, Liu Deng and Zhao began to manage affairs, introducing more economically lenient policies and trying to mend relations with Russia. On May 16, 1966, Mao organised a Politburo conference in Beijing, where his scheming would come to fruition.
Where's the rest of the party?
You'll probably wonder why.
Deng, Liu and Zhao.
I'm waiting for the rest of my party. Okay, alright. So, go and stand with the rest of the party. You're probably wondering why I brought you all here today.
Yeah, you rock, Mal.
There are some of you here who I can no longer trust.
No longer trust.
There are enemies within the party who wave the red flag to oppose the red flag.
Yeah, enemies within a party.
My line of thought and ideology will help weed them out.
Hold on. Mental seeds in the May 16. Friday night at the Politburo, dealing with the class struggle. All the party leaders located in Beijing. You look for Deng Xiaoping. He tells you that Mao's gone mad. Enemies that pose the red flag. With this red book, everything is fine. You're in the mood to run. The revolution has begun. It is the May 16th. Mental scenes only in Beijing. May 16th, Mao's regime will reign supreme. Oh yeah. You can run, you can hide, fearing for your life. Deng Xiaoping, Liu Shaoqi, fearing the May 16th.
Those representatives of the bourgeoisie who have sneaked into the party, the government, the army, and various spheres of culture are a bunch of counter-revolutionary revisionists. Once conditions are right, they will seize political power and turn the dictatorship of the proletariat into the dictatorship of the bourgeoisie. Some of them we have already seen go through, others we have not. Some are still trusted by us, and others are being trained as our successors. People like Khrushchev, for example, who are still nestling beside us.
Whilst the party leaders were mostly united in approving this agenda, many of the Politburo members were cautious and less than enthusiastic. They were well aware that the concept of internal dissidence could put themselves at risk. Furthermore, the intellectual class grew wary, as they were well aware that they would be the first targeted in a political struggle. On May 26th, Li Yuanzi, lecturer at Beijing University, stuck a poster on a public bulletin which attacked the university administration and declared that they, the university administration, were attempting to advance revisionism and express revolution.
Lynn, did you hear that? They're rebelling at these universities.
Yes, Daddy! I mean, Chairman Mao!
If I publicly endorse this, that will whip them up into a frenzy, and they'll love me even more.
Good idea, Mal. You're so clever, wise, smart, brave, and intelligent.
Thanks, Lynn. You always know how to make me feel better.
If only you let me make you feel even better.
What was that, Lynn?
Nothing.
Mao promptly endorsed this call to arms, causing students everywhere to revolt against their university/school establishment. On June 13th, a decision to suspend classes nationwide was passed. The result was mass demonstrations in most cities.
Then, whatever are we going to do?
I don't know you. I just don't know.
Mao recommended that we send in the work teams. Is he trying to trick us?
Possibly, but I don't think we have any other choice.
I fear this revolution may be one against the party, rather than along any ideological lines.
If you are right, and that is true, sending in work teams will only help swell the revolution out of control.
We must try and reassert party control. And the cadres are the only way this will happen.
Sending in work teams had a negative effect. These protests were anti-party leadership, and the work cadres were regarded as a part of the party leadership. Liu Shaoqi, against the advice of the party leadership, insisted on keeping work team involvement, fearing that doing otherwise would push the movement out of control. On May 16th, Mao swam across the Yangtze River in front of press to demonstrate his battle readiness. This helped whip up a frenzy amongst protesters. He subsequently criticised the party leadership over the work team issues, accusing them of undermining the student movement and proclaiming that to rebel is justified. In a speech at the end of July, Mao addressed the masses.
My comrades, you must rebel against the party establishment. To rebel is justified. We need constant revolution, my dudes.
Mao, you must stop this chaos.
This is madness!
No! I urge you to think this!
There is bourgeoisie infiltration within the party. You, I'm replacing you with Lynn. You're not you, you're you. I'm replacing you with Lynn. I can no longer trust you to fulfill your duties. Meanwhile, I will also be replacing the national bureaucracy and abolishing certain departments. Also, you're going to jail.
No!
Tough luck to you.
Yeah, buddy. You get on next time, mate.
Alright, boys. There's one last thing I wanted to try.
What's that?
Oh, Lynn.
Yes, Mao.
Remember what we practiced last night?
Yes.
I need you to assume that position again. Right, boys. Grab his arms.
Sorry, Mao, but it's getting a bit weird. You sure you thought this through?
Come on, guys.
Waste!
You've got more
Change!
than that. Waste. policeman! We're going to do this to everyone who disagrees with us. Understand? Lastly, I intend to reform Chinese culture. Out with the four olds and enter the age of the Red Dynasty. I think I know just the person.
The four olds, or the four old things, were old customs, old culture, old habits and old ideas. One of the stated goals of the Cultural Revolution in the People's Republic of China was to bring an end to the four olds. The campaign destroyed the four olds. The campaign to destroy the four olds began in Beijing on August 19, 1966, shortly after the launch of the Cultural Revolution. In the months that followed, the movement escalated quickly as the students formed paramilitary groups called the Red Guards and attacked and harassed members of China's elderly and intellectual population. A personality cult quickly sprung up around Mao, similar to that which existed for Joseph Stalin, with different factions of the movement claiming to be the true interpretation of Mao's thought. Meanwhile, one woman sought to embrace the chaos, dive into government and mould the minds of the nation in her perverted vision.
Now that the government is in complete turmoil, I, Madame Mao, can make my entrance. I fashioned China to my design. First, I need to court the affection of my long-lost lover.
We're all doing half. Bureau in my office all alone. How I hate to spend the evening on my own. Autumn wind blowing outside the window as I look around the room, and it makes me so depressed to see the gloom. There's not a man out there that can compete with Mao, I swear. Give me a Mao after midnight. Won't somebody help me chase the visions away? Give me a Mao after midnight. Take me to the government in less than a day.
Months passes, and Madame Mao and Mao work together reforming Chinese culture.
How goes the reformation of culture, babe?
Great and wondrous Chairman Mao. We have successfully created a glorious revolution with culture. Children are taught of the wonders of communism in schools. Movies are benevolent in their portrayal of communism, and the party is more powerful than ever.
Nice, babe.
Oh, kind and prodigal Lord Mao, I have a suggestion I can make.
Alright, go for it, babe.
Perhaps, great and honourable Mao, you could elect Lin Biao as your most honoured and sacred second in command.
Okay, babe. Anything for you. Normally she calls me chairman, but tonight she'll call me daddy.
With different factions of the Red Guard movement battling for dominance, many Chinese cities reached the brink of anarchy by September 1967, when Mao had Lin send army troops in to restore order. The army soon forced many urban members of the Red Guard into rural areas where the movement declined. Amid the chaos, the Chinese economy plummeted, with industrial production of 1968 dropping 12% below that of 1966. Mao was busy reforming his closest allies.
Lynn, I've got something I want to tell you.
Senpai?
Go on. You're going to be my successor.
Oh,
thought you were going to tell me something else.
What?
Nothing, don't worry.
Okay, let's get down to business ASAP, Rocky. We've got a nation to restore to glory.
Lin soon used the excuse of border clashes with Soviet troops to institute martial law. Disturbed by Lin's premature power grab, Mao began to manoeuvre against him with the help of Zhou Enlai, China's premier, splitting the ranks of power atop the Chinese government.
You wanted to talk to me?
Listen, Zhao, I know we've had our differences.
You can say that again.
Listen, Zhao, I know we've had our differences.
Nice one.
Thanks.
Nice.
I'm getting a bit tired of Lin's antics. He's been a bit useless running our country. He immediately declared martial law as soon as I appointed him my successor. Also, between us, I think he fancies me. Do you want to be part of his assassination?
Yeah, safe lad. How about we blow up his aeroplane?
Good idea. I knew I could count on you. Zhao, I love you.
What was that?
Nothing.
Meanwhile, Liu Shaoqi is locked away in prison. He has suffered terribly, and it looks like he will die.
What will you be having for your last meal?
Have 45 out of 23. The white crest on the tide of my existence comes forward. The fragile, naked, and wonderful socialist paradigm has been crushed by the boot of an autocratic monster. The nation that I helped construct, the tower of cards, it's all been crumbling around me. The moral foundation that our society rests upon has been usurped by a criminal. Millions of lives carelessly wasted for a man that so callously neglects the laws of nature. The stony voice of death whispers in my ear. I feel his cold hands on my shoulder, his icy breath on the back of my neck. I embrace this as Caesar crossed the Rubicon and seized Rome. I too will cross from this world to the next. To shuffle off this mortal coil, imminent darkness awaits me. I try to help build a world free from pain, regret and sadness. Only now do I realise the futility of my endeavours. Without pain, how could we feel joy? Without regret, how could we cherish pride? Without sadness, there is no use in being happy. Without death, what value is a life lived? What will be my legacy? How am I to be remembered? Will socialism prevail? I care no longer for the answer to these. For now, eternal silence.
Days, they seem so hard to find. I try to reach for you, but you have closed your mind. Whatever happened to China? I wish I understood. It used to be so nice, it used to be so good. So when you're near me, darling, can't you hear me? SOS. The love you gave me, nothing else can save me. SOS. When you're gone, how can I even try to go on? When you're gone, though I try, how can I carry on?
In September 1971, Lin died in an airplane crash in Mongolia, apparently while attempting to escape to the Soviet Union. Members of his high military command were subsequently purged, and Zhao took over greater control of the government. Lin's brutal end led many Chinese citizens to feel disillusioned over the course of Mao's high-minded revolution, which seemed to have dissolved in favour of ordinary power struggles. Leaders such as Madame Mao and Zhou Enlai take to denouncing Lin after his death.
I denounce Lin. He was a very naughty man.
Same.
Thanks, babes. Zhao, how are your governmental reforms?
Well, I've acted to stabilise China by reviving the educational system and restoring numerous former officials to power.
Good work, lad.
What's wrong?
I'm suffering from a stroke. And I also have cancer.
Oh, darn it.
Also, Zhang, we're going to separate now. I want a divorce.
Now that Mao is ill, I must throw my attention and support towards Deng. Oh, Deng. Want to work together?
Yeah, let me run the country for the next 20 years, but after Mao dies, though.
Okay then, old chap.
The two leaders threw their support to Deng Xiaoping, who had been purged during the first phase of the Cultural Revolution. A development opposed by the more radical Zhang and her allies, who became known as the Gang of Four. In the next several years, Chinese politics teetered between the two sides. The radicals finally convinced Mao to purge Deng in April 1976, a few months after Zhao's death. But after Mao died that September, a civil, police and military coalition pushed the Gang of Four out. Deng regained power in 1977 and would maintain control over Chinese government for the next 20 years.
About the things we've gone through, though it's hurting me. Now it's history. I've played all my parts, and that's what you've done too. Nothing more to say, no more race to play. The winner takes it all, the loser standing small. Besides the victory, that's her destiny. I was in your arms, thinking I belonged there. I figured it made sense, building me a fence. Building me a home, thinking I'd be strong there, but I was a fool, playing by the rules. The gods may throw the dice, their minds as cold as ice, and someone way down here, losing someone dear. The winner takes it all, the loser has to fall. It's simple and it's plain, why should I complain?
To mould a nation from the ashes of its predecessor, and then carve my will on it, that is what I have done. Now it is time for China to bind the wounds of division, have to get together. To all Stalinists and Maoists and Democrats across the nation, I say it is time to come together as one united people. It's time. I pledge to every citizen of our land that I will be chairman for all Chinks, and this is so important to me.
Make China
For those who have chosen not to support me in the past, of which there are a few people, I'm reaching out to you for guidance and your help so that we can work together and unify our great country. As I've said from the beginning, ours was not a campaign, but rather an incredible and great movement made up of millions of hardworking men and women who love their country and want a better and brighter future for themselves and their family.
Some 1.5 million people were killed during the Cultural Revolution, and millions of others suffered imprisonment, seizure of property, torture, or general humiliation. The Cultural Revolution's short-term effects may have been felt mainly in China's cities, but its long-term effects would impact the entire country for decades to come. Mao's large-scale attack on the party and system he created would eventually produce a result opposite to what he intended, leading many Chinese to lose their faith in their government altogether.
Beautiful. Beautiful.